So, how many of you guys know what an anesthesiologist is? Raise your hand. Do you actually know what they do? Who knows what they do? Right there, with the blue shirt. Pass gas for a living. That's very close. So it's kind of difficult for me to introduce myself to anyone that I speak to because as a specialty, most people don't really know what anesthesia is, but there's a lot of really good one-liners, which that was actually very good. We sat down one day, kind of the group of us who are still in training, and I'm just finishing my final year. I've been in school for about 15 years. There's a 4-year chemistry degree, and then I did 4 years med school, and I'm finishing up a 5-year residency program. So it's been a long time that I've been in school. And we finally decided one day, we gotta figure out a term that people can connect with, some way to communicate what it is that we do as anesthetists. Otherwise, we're just gonna get jokes, right? And we thought of the term medical ninja. And I think it applies. You're highly specialized, you have a specific set of skills, and we're the last people to see before you lose consciousness. So medical ninja is a term that I use to kind of explain what I do, and I don't think the last time that I talked about kind of medicine and being a physician and all those other things. I'm a non-status of mixed heritage. I'm Cree and Polynesian. Most of you probably know Cree people, but most of you may have not met Polynesian people. I'm very small for my race. I have cousins who are 7'2" to 7'7", about 400 pounds, built like walls. My hand's pretty big. One of my very good first cousins, his hand is twice my size. He was tough growing up because I was the rat. But as part of growing up, every ethnic culture kind of goes through similar issues. And I grew up in Regina, Saskatchewan, moved over to Saskatoon after. And my parents did a really good job of sheltering me. I have to say that I'm really lucky. I'm very, very lucky. And I had 2 parents who were very, very supportive of everything that I did. And they tried to shield me from a lot of the racism that exists within all the different communities and experiences that we have as children and as youth and as adults. And there eventually happened, like one instance where something occurred that really shocked me. It was the first time I had ever realized that there was those kinds of things going on in my life. When I was in grade 4, my teacher decided that I was slow. And he started putting me over to speech language classes. And there's people who train in these areas, they're very, very nice, they mean very, very well. But he was convinced too that I had a learning disability. And it was because I couldn't pronounce my W's or R's. I kind of sounded like Elmer Fudd for anyone who's ever watched those cartoons. And I still have problems with it, to tell you the truth. That's one of the reasons why you might notice I slow down when I talk, because I know I feel it coming. And so I try and push it down. And they took me off of recess for about a year. And my parents had no idea what was going on. And it wasn't until I came home one day and I asked my mom, so why am I not allowed to go play with my friends? But everyone goes outside. My mom was furious. She was very, very angry. And the next morning she arranged a meeting with the principal and the teacher that I had. And we sat down together inside the principal's office. And it's the first time I ever saw my mom's heart break. So my principal leaned over the desk and said, Ms. Lafontaine, I know that you love your child, but he'll never graduate high school. And what we suggest to you is that you put him in home economic courses. Maybe you can have him hang out with a carpenter or a plumber. Maybe you can learn a trade, although I wouldn't expect too much. Maybe just basic skills. Don't ever think about him attending university. Don't think of him ever being able to be independent from you, because it will never happen. And my parents were crushed. And I had no idea what was going on, right? I was in grade 4, it was all Transformers and G.I. Joes. And my parents decided, after trying to figure out what was going on, to do something big. And it was before the same things start happening in other families. They actually pulled me from school. And in the early 90s, that was a big deal. You know, homeschooling wasn't really established. There was no support. The school system pretty much told my mom, you know what, you pull from school, you get no support. We're not going to give you any money. We're not going to help you out with any books. We're not going to let you photocopy things. And every step along the way, my parents had to fight for my help. And what eventually happened is my dad went down to the States. He got some extra training, and they realized that my problem was that I had ear infections, and that I actually couldn't hear what was going on. And so when I was pronouncing things like Elmer Fudd, I actually heard things like Elmer Fudd. And once they fixed that problem, I really started doing well inside my classes. I graduated high school at 15. I finished my BSc by the time I was 19. I finished med school before I was 24. I'm 27 now. You know, and I don't mention any of that to illustrate any greatness that I have. Everything that is important to me and special to me has been given to me by the people that I love in my life. And all the things that I'm going to share with you guys is wisdom that I've gained from elders, from mentors, from teachers, from Aboriginals and non-Aboriginals, and everything that I've become, and the things that I have to share with you today, is really taking the best, I hope, from the teachings that I've been given. And that's one of the reasons why I really want to come here when Don asked me, is I knew that it was going to be organized in a way for you guys to continue on that journey or start on that journey. Because it's tough as a youth. Right? There's so many pressures. There's the standard stuff, you know, the racism that we experience, the stereotypes, the fact that we have to grow up in families that don't have a lot. You know, my dad lost his job for a year growing up, and we lived off canned soup that my mom had kind of collected over 5 years. Sometimes we come from families where we don't have two parents. I was really lucky to have both parents there. Or maybe you don't have someone that you feel is like a parental figure. I know that you guys are blessed enough to have people who care about you by the way that you're here. You obviously must have someone who cared enough to tell you about this event. Someone who cared enough to make sure that you got here. So as you hear these stories and you think over kind of what's being spoken about today, just remember, a lot of the good that we learn about in life, it doesn't come from us. It comes from other people. And what I believe about my Cree tradition and about my Polynesian tradition is that all of the best comes from that. The teachings about the earth, the teachings about each other, the teachings about how we need to treat each other. It's the best that's come from all the people who've come before. Now, I always like to give out prizes whenever I talk, so I'm going to play a little game with you guys. So if you look up at the three boards over here, I have a really, really short slideshow. And it's a game, actually. So when I was in grade 4, my grandmother tried, with limited success, to teach me about a concept. And it's something that we all experience. It's completely universal. This isn't something that just applies to me. In medical terms, we call it scotoma. So scotoma can apply to the optic nerves, it can apply to cognitive abilities, it can apply to a bunch of these big long words that I can spit out. But the key message is that there's a world out there that we don't see. It's not because we don't want to see it. It's not because we don't care about it. And it's not because we're not smart enough to understand it. It's because as we grow up and as we develop, we all develop these filters. And we start to filter out whatever we hear in the way that our filter works. Everything we see in the way that our filter works. And this exercise is to show you that those filters exist. Because I know myself, when I first heard about this, I never believed my grandfather. So, everybody knows what the letter F is, right? Everyone raise their hand and say that. Okay, perfect. This game falls apart if you don't know it. I'm going to put up a paragraph on the screen. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. You have to read through the paragraph and then tell me how many F's are in there. Okay? Everybody feel like they can do that? Okay, everyone can see the screens up here, hey? So I'll count as you're reading, and I want you to count the F's. Okay, so I'm going to start now. So start reading the paragraph, focus on the F's. You have about 8 seconds now. 7, 6, 5, read the entire paragraph. Don't miss anything. 3, give it a few more seconds. 3 again. 2, 1, stop. How many people saw 3? Raise your hand. 3, yeah. Raise your hand. Raise it high. How many people saw 4? Keep it to yourself. Keep your numbers to yourself. How many people saw 4? How many people saw 5? How many people saw 6? Huh. Interesting. How many people saw 3? Raise your hand. Can you help me out? Can you come on? Do you mind? Don't worry, they'll be like, you're going to compete for the prize. So, what's your name one more time? Josh. Nice. So we're going to step over here. So Josh, how do you feel about your number? Feel pretty good? Pretty confident? Okay. So we're going to have you stand over at this mic. Is this mic on right now? Yeah. Okay, excellent. So you're going to stick with your 3? Okay. So we're actually going to read through it, okay? So we'll start counting. So read out the paragraph out loud.
Finish
1. Do it slow. So we'll try again.
Finish
1.
Flies
2.
are the result of years
3.
of scientific
4, 5.
study combined with the experience of years
6. You're a smart guy. I sat down and talked to you before. Like you're. But why do you think that happened? Just what do you think? Like how do we usually read? Does anybody say the word in their head as they read? Yeah, that's how I read too. That's why I read slow. Right? And so we've all developed the filter where when we're reading fast, that we don't see things. Because of doesn't sound like that, right? But you probably got finished files as a result of years of scientific study combined with the experience of years. So you probably said 3, right? Okay, here's a good question. What's your favorite food?
spaghetti.
Spaghetti, you're not a steak guy? You're not a lobster guy? Spaghetti's pretty inexpensive, man. Okay. So, I know 2 really good Italian places here. Actually, I should take you to the Alika. All you can eat spaghetti. But, you have to win this game. Okay? You read fast? Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be 3 triangles that are going to come up there. I want you to read them in rapid succession, okay? I'm going to point at 1, 2, 3. You got to read them in fast succession. Okay, you can't slow down. Now, if you read them correctly, I'll take you out for dinner. Okay. If you don't read them correctly, you have to take all of us out for dinner. And I think Don will pay for it. So. Okay, so you understand the game?
I just didn't try.
Yeah, so I'm going to point at them, and you're going to have to read it. But you got to do it fast, okay? Because I'm going to be about to go one more time. All right. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
100% sure?
Yeah.
Speak really close to the mic. Move your face really close to the mic.
Okay.
Everyone can hear them clearly? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Read the first triangle.
Once in a lifetime, Harrison Spring, bird in the hat.
Great. Now, is that what it said? Do you think that's what it said?
Yeah.
Obviously, you know there's a trick now, right?
Pardon?
Obviously, you know there's a trick now, right? Try reading it again. Go a little bit slower.
Once in a lifetime.
If you really take your time. Once in
a lifetime.
once in a lifetime.
Oh, once in.
Bears in the spring.
Oh.
Bird in the night. Everyone give Josh a hand. Thank you very much. Josh is a smart guy. He's a very smart guy. I sat down with him, we had a good discussion. But why did we see it? He even knew that it was going to be a trick, right? We all knew there was going to be a trick, wouldn't it? So what I finally clicked when I was in university is that my grandfather was trying to get through to me, even though you know that you have a filter, you still don't see it.